Welcome back for another podcast, Platicando Contigo. In English, it translates to talking with you. As you can tell, I'm doing an English interview. I never really had somebody that I interviewed in the English market. I did do one with my co-host here and there, but not actually interview somebody. And I'm actually very grateful that the person that I have today accepted the opportunity for me to interview that person because I wanted to get to know more. I kind of know some of his backstory, but I want a lot of people to know because it's going to help a lot of people in the journey that they are and actually give them a breakthrough. So I'm gonna go straight into it. The person I do have is a very successful entrepreneur, very young. He has been doing a lot of things. He does events, and I want to talk more about that in depth, but I want him to talk about it. So I want to give the mic to Jason Solomon. Hey, Jason.
Amazing. Hola, amigo. Me llamo Jason. We can do this in English or Spanish, brother. However you want to. I learned a little bit from class. I learned a little bit of Hola, amigo. Me llamo Jason. So there you go, bro. But hey, listen, Henry, I appreciate you having me here, man. It's a pleasure. I'm very grateful and very fortunate that you asked me to be on your podcast. And I've been very blessed throughout the years to have done a lot of interviews, to have done a number of different podcasts, and then speak at different occasions, different events all around the world. But I never take it for granted. And I always have huge gratitude anytime somebody like yourself reaches out and wants me to share my story, because I think the best life you could ever live, Henry, is when you get paid to share your story. And I've been very blessed to be in that position. So thank you again, brother. And I'm excited to have this podcast.
Thank you again. I really think that a lot of people will get some breakthroughs hearing your story. But let's go right into it. What is it that you do currently?
Currently, man, I have a few things that I do. So I have a lot of consulting work, which is where I work with individuals or companies one on one, and the focus is helping them change their paradigm. If you don't know what a paradigm is, I encourage a lot of people to look up, one of my late great mentors, Bob Proctor, which is really helping people shift their habits, helping individuals and companies change their habits, their daily method of operation, and also working in the mindset and in sales. So that's what I do with consulting. And then I also have my retreats. I've done events for years, but I love the idea of having smaller mastermind gatherings where people can come together, entrepreneurs, thinkers, creators, and I have international retreats. So I've done three in a year last year. One in London is my first one, and then I did one in Utah here in the States. And then I just got back from one in the south of France back in May. And then I have another one planned in Las Vegas, October. I know this is going to date this interview a little bit, but then I have another one that I'm getting ready to announce that's going to take place in Bali in Indonesia. So these retreats are special to me because they kind of replicate my first experiences being around successful people and being under the influence of thinkers and leaders and creators. And retreats were places that I would go to the start of my journey. So those have been special things for me that I've been a part of and I've been blessed to create.
Okay, yeah, let me ask you this because I know one of the turning points that helped you, and you kind of mentioned it already, being around entrepreneur. You've
Mhm.
heard the saying where they say, if you hang around with six wolves,
Hang around with six wolf, you learn how to howl.
there you go. How
Yeah,
true is that?
I think it's very true, man. I think okay, I'll put it like this. My mentor, Bob Proctor, said, environment is more important than heredity. Okay, now that's a strong claim, right?
Right.
Environment is more important than heredity. Heredity is how you're born, right? You look like your parents, you talk like your parents, you walk like your parents, your grandmother, your grandfather, etc. But environment is what you're born into, right? Heredity is what you're born with, environment is what you're born into. So he said environment is more powerful than heredity. And when you think about that, sounds kind of crazy, right? But if I take an ice cube out of the freezer and I put it on the table, what's going to happen to that ice cube?
Gonna melt.
It's going to melt. But it's not just going to melt. It's going to melt to the exact temperature of the room.
Right.
That's why if you leave water sitting out, let's say I like my water what's called room temperature
Me too.
when I wake up in the morning, right? Not too cold, not too hot, room temp. So how do you get water to be room temperature? What do? You pour it in a glass and you sit it on the table so that it naturally adapts to the environment that it's around.
Mm-hmm.
So people are like ice cubes. We're like water. Water doesn't say, don't pour me in this cup. It says, whatever cup you pour me in, I'm going to fit the mold. And that's people. So that's how important environment is. That's how important who you're around. And the challenge, I think, Henry, is people don't know what environment really looks like or what it is. The environment is, number one, the things you see, the things you hear, right? The things you see, the things you hear, the things you smell. So some people are like, well, Jason, I can't just call up millionaires. I can't just go to events. How can I still change my environment when I'm in this position? Well, first off, you can change what you're hearing. Put in some podcasts. Like I have two TVs. I have this TV up here and down here, and then I have a TV upstairs. My TV upstairs always, Henry, if I took this computer up here, you'll see it. Always has podcasts playing on my YouTube TV. Always. So that's how important environment is. Just if you don't believe me, all of you should go take an ice cube, sit it on the counter. It may not melt straight away. It may take a while for it to melt. But I promise you, if you put a thermometer next day, that water on that table is going to be the same temperature as the room.
Yeah, and you know what? That I like the way you explained it because that helps a lot of people visualize it.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I'm the same way but before I even get to that, how Jason is now, I'm pretty sure you will never like this. This was not the way you was brought up. Can we talk about how Jason was before you got to the turning point and then we talk about your mentor and how he kind of impacted your life. But how was Jason before?
How was Jason before? Jason was shy. I was like you, very shy, very quiet. I was what you call a happy introvert. I didn't talk to people, not because I didn't always like to talk to people. I didn't talk to people because I was always in my own head. I was happy in my own space, Henry. So Jason was growing up. He was an athlete. I played basketball. I just got back from the gym, and so I love fitness, love working out. I'm what you call a business athlete. I truly believe if you ever want to build a business, build your body. It's going to be one of the greatest analogies you can use to the process you're going to go through to build a business. But I was an athlete, man. I played basketball. Sports was everything to me. I love the idea of putting in the work for something to get better. I also was an entrepreneur from the jump. I was literally the kid, Henry, me and you would have been best friends in school. You want to know why? Not because I would have talked to you, but because I knew exactly what your favorite candy was. All right, so I would have
Exactly.
had Snickers, Milky Way, Starburst, Skittles, whatever you want, bro. I had it for you, right? So that was me, and I love the idea of just creating and being able to take something that I could buy for 50 cents, turn it into $1, right? Then being able to take that dollar and get whatever I want to get with it.
Hmm.
No one can tell me what to do with my money, right?
Hmm.
So I was always that way. That was just in me. It wasn't something I know nowadays. A lot of your audience are going to be entrepreneurs, right? People that are getting into business. But the thing about being an entrepreneur, I was a true bred entrepreneur. I wasn't getting into entrepreneurship. I didn't just sign up for this. Born and raised as an entrepreneur. True entrepreneurs love the process of creating way more than they love the finished product. So, Henry, that was me, man, an entrepreneur and an athlete.
You know, growing up, that was me. I knew
Hmm.
my close friends. I knew what they like and what they didn't like. I knew how to get around. And with the entrepreneur mindset, that was also me. That's why I relate a lot with you because for me, I didn't always wanted to, like, for example, I was the person that was very active. I didn't want,
Mm-hmm.
I was, when I was in age 15, I remember my parents never bought me a phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I always wanted a phone. And I remember I was like, okay, they're not gonna give me a phone, so what do I do? I gotta make money so I can buy my own phone because everybody had a phone. And I remember me actually buying my own phone, and then my parents actually getting mad at me because how is a 13-year-old boy making money? But I was
Mm-hmm.
actually doing a lot of like hustling back then,
Yeah.
and not only flipping things, but actually going out and working with people. I remember I had a friend that owned a business, and I would always
Mm-hmm.
tell him because he would always come every Tuesdays and Thursdays from a long trip to go get the supplies he needs for a store. And every time he came with his box truck, I was always waiting for him and say, "Hey, let me help you. I don't care how much you pay me. I
Mm-hmm.
just want to help you and at least want to make money." He would give me $5, $2, $6. I
Mm-hmm.
managed to buy my own phone. So,
Nice.
I always had that like entrepreneur in me. But for you,
Mm-hmm.
what made you change like your habit, the shyness, the actually taking what you have in you serious, the entrepreneur that you had, what made you change it into like, you know what, I'm gonna pursue this as my lifestyle?
Yeah. Um, Injuries with basketball.
Okay.
Yeah. Injuries will humble you or stumble you. So for me, it kind of humbled me. I got hurt playing ball, so I wasn't able to continue to go to a professional level. So I had to come back home. And my older brother, he was into personal growth way before I was. So he knew that I was going through a tough season and that I needed, what we call bread for the head, right?
Yeah.
I needed some nutrition up here for the mind. So he was into personal growth. He was surrounded by good people. He always had a good group of people around him, man. And I did too. I had great friends, but a lot of my friends were, in the streets doing whatever they were doing. And um, you know where that's going to take you, right? So you can just forecast and see how where that's going to lead you. So he gave me the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and Henry, when I read that book, that was the first book that made me realize that I wasn't crazy. Because as a kid, I was always against the crowd. I never found enjoyable what everyone else found enjoyable. I never found um, fun what everyone else found fun. I was always my own free thinker. And when you're that person, you think sometimes you're on the wrong track because you're not partying. You don't have to. What's wrong with me? Like I don't want to party. I don't do that stuff. So there has to be something wrong with me. But when I read that book, it was like, wow, more people like me do exist. It's like that movie where the alien goes to a different planet and he finds more of his own kind.
Yeah.
That's how reading Rich Dad Poor Dad was for me, bro. And
Okay.
that's what started my journey, man. I think I told you yesterday. I ended up getting into direct sales. At the age of 18, which I did for about 6 years, which was great. Struggled for the first couple of years, didn't make a lot of money, but I was very consistent and I kept going. Then I ended up building a pretty cool business on an international scale, which that opened up a lot of doors for me to be able to speak on stages, a lot of recognition, a lot of curiosity from people. Which, when you build a network, when you develop right connections, that bleeds into other things, which is one of the ways I'm able to do what I do because I think I've built somewhat of a good name, reputation, respect, you know, of doing what I say I'm going to do, and and that follows you. So, yeah, that's kind of how it started for me, man.
Yeah, and good thing you brought direct sell and network marketing because I feel that that industry in alone, not even if you don't pursue it as a long term, it always going. And I made a video on Instagram. I don't know if you saw it, but I was talking about how even if you don't stick with that later on, it's always going to serve you because you actually develop certain skills that that industry teaches you. Because one big thing that they have is personal development, and you're a big
Hmm.
personal development guy. And so, can you go in more in depth in that and how that kind of helped you?
Yeah. it saved me.
Okay.
Saved my life, man. Like I don't know where I would be. Again, I was a kid, I never worked a job, hated school, hated being told what to do, and I was a quiet salesman.
Hmm.
Shows you what I could have been doing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it saved me, man. It gave me a place to be. It gave me a place to go, the events, it gave me a reason to get a passport. Like right before this call, I was talking with a young guy. His name's Den Yin. He actually had me on his podcast. I think he's 23. He's from Australia. I've been mentoring Den Yin since 2022. And Den Yin's made a lot of money at a young age, lost a lot of money at a young age. He's a business guy, a hustler. And I was telling him, I said, one of the greatest things you can do is see the world. When you see the world, it makes life make sense.
Hmm.
So if it wasn't for that business, I didn't have a reason to travel, you know? Hey, Henry, let's go to LA. My answer is why? What's the reason?
Hmm.
But because I was in a business that had events in different places, that gave me a reason to travel. It gave me a reason to grow. It gave me a reason to change how I dressed. You can't go to
Hmm.
events in basketball shorts too long before someone says, hey, where's your suit? So it gave me a reason to grow up, you know? And my environment shifted. My environment went from 18, 19-year-old kids to 30, 40, 50-year-old business people when I got into it. It just completely shift, right? So I had to grow up fast. I remember going to some lunches and dinners. You know how you start eating bougie, you have three forks, you got to put the napkin on your lap. I didn't know which one was the salad fork, which one was
Yeah.
we had two glasses, we had three forks. I'm like, which the water glass?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the wine glass. Like, oh, this is your salad fork,
Yeah.
oh, don't use that fork. That's for the entree. And I remember actually, I have a friend named Marnie. She's from Toronto. And we were in one of those, I was blessed, man. I got put into rooms early. At 18, 19 years old, 20 years old, I'm in rooms with millionaires, and I'm the youngest one. And I've been the youngest one in rooms for a long time, man. And so I remember sitting next to Marnie, and we're about to eat, and I'm starving, man. I'm like, yes, let's get this food. And then they bring out salads. And I look at Marnie, I said, is this all we're about to eat? Like, salad? I thought they said we're going to eat food. She said, Jason, this is the starter. I didn't know what a three-course meal was, man. They brought out salads, then they brought out the chicken, then they brought out the cheesecake, then the dinner wine. I had no idea about that stuff,
Right.
man. Didn't know
Yeah.
how to eat, didn't know how to dress. I was raw. I came in very raw, very new in the game. So it helped me grow up, it helped me mature. Um, and it helped me see the world just a little bit differently, which is why I'm so curious now. Like I'm the person, if you take me to France, just give me a rental car. I'm just gonna drive.
Right. Yeah.
I don't need a destination. I want to see places. I just want to go. I just want to walk with the locals. I'm very curious. And I think there's a quote that said, be more like children. I think this is in the Bible. It
Hmm.
says, be more like children. Be curious.
Yeah.
Be curious.
And you know what, Jason? I'm glad you said that because, like you, when you were brought into this organization around these people, you were being molded into what you are now. The way they talk, the way because I'm gonna give you an example with network marketing with me. I joined from scratch again. I remember I would do the presentations, pants, regular shirt. And I thought I was like, and I would talk in front of my guests, in front of when someone told me, hey, go speak over there. I would go regular. Looking back, I was like, why did I do that?
hmm
And the people that were sponsoring me, they didn't know no better. They just wanted me to
hmm
go and do my best. But once I got
Yeah.
connected to the higher up with the six, seven, eight-figure earners, and then connecting with the personal development audio, the podcast, it changed the way think. I'm like, you know what? Now when I do go out, when I do go have a meeting, when I do have something, I'm always dressed up. And you kind of feel more confident too. Not only
hmm
because you're now around entrepreneurs, but you're dressing better. You don't want
Yeah.
to go out pants, shirt wrinkled. You know what that means? So that's one
Yeah.
thing that helped me. But let me ask you this. I know that you had a very, very successful entrepreneur, mentor, author, and motivational speaker. He would always do talk in very big spaces. He would actually get called to talk to thousands of people. And for the people that don't know, Bob Proctor was actually one of your mentors, and he took you under his wings. And maybe people don't know him by the name, or one of his greatest quotes is the thoughts become things. And if you see it
Hmm.
in your mind, then you can
You can
actually
hold
put
it
it
in
in
your
your
hand.
hand. So that's one thing that, when I first started listening to podcasts, he came on and give me some backstory and give us and talk about that and how that changed the way your life is now.
Yeah. Well, it was a blessing, man, to be around Bob. But I'll tell you the person that really did it was Bob's wife, Linda. I was much closer to her than I was to him, but I still had him, right?
Right.
Um, but I met Linda when I was 18 years old, and I met her through some of my brother's friends that were actually being mentored by them. So such a blessing being around those guys. They changed my life. But Linda ended up becoming my first mentor of that caliber, you know, of that level of success. Because Linda was an entrepreneur. Linda was in network marketing,
Hmm.
made millions in it for years. Bob actually told her to get in network marketing because she didn't like the lifestyle that she was having with the brick and mortar business.
Hmm.
So Linda was my upline, you know, and I was always getting Linda on calls, three-way calls. Hey Linda, can you do a call? Hey Linda, I got a prospect, can you do a call? Because I was hungry, man. Like she told me she'll mentor me because she knew I was hungry. She knew I was serious. I had nothing to offer this lady. And, I'm always calling Linda. So eventually, like sometimes I'll call her at 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock, and she's sitting on the couch next to Bob. So the way Bob learned who I was, he's like, Linda, who the hell's this kid that keeps talking to you all the time? That's how he found out who I was. Because I was always on the phone with his wife. Like, hey, if somebody's always calling your wife,
Yeah.
you're going to ask, like, hey, who is this?
Yeah.
All right, who are you talking to right now? Right? Oh, this is Jason. He's one of the young guys who I'm working with. And I remember in 2016 or 17, Bob shouted me out on stage for me doing that with Linda, for me working with her that well. And then Linda invited me to their home where they had a leadership training, which that first leadership training that I went to is the, how do I say it? It's the pinnacle example for how I run my retreats. It's the
Yeah.
reason why I do what I do. That very first leadership training. Um, so if anybody ever has been to my retreats, if you've seen them online, then that's where it came from.
And I know that,
And yeah, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say that just because you were in the same leadership event with one of the greats, you kind of took a lot of gold, a lot of jewels from that, and you brought it into what you do now. So I'm
Hmm.
very positive, and I'm very sure that your retreats are top thing. Like
Yeah.
anybody that goes to your retreats, it's like going to Bob's retreat or leadership.
Hey, it's a strong claim, but I'll take it.
Yeah,
We're
because
working on that.
yeah,
We're
because
working on that for sure.
yeah, and the reason why I say this because if you're saying that you were hungry, like how I am, I remember, and
Hmm.
this is why I'm telling you this because with me, my upline, he wasn't somebody that I was like, okay, yeah, he had some results, but it wasn't something like, oh, like, I want to go and see what. No, once I got to a six-figure earner, my upline, he's like up there. I told him he came to my hometown. He's actually coming next month. And the first day he came to my town, I'm telling you, I went to go pick up in the airport. I drove him to our city. I was everywhere. Everywhere he was going, I was right behind him. Why? Because I knew, first of all, he's successful. He knows something that I don't know. And I started picking his brain. I would ask him ton of questions. I would tell him, "Hey, why you do this? How you do it?" Want to know what he knows because obviously what he knows is how he got to where he's at. So I want to go there. So I just assume that Jason having close contact with these successful people, you want to wonder why they do that, how they do it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why
Oh,
I
I had so many questions. Like here, I'll show you guys a photo if you can see this. This is a photo of me at Bob's house. We were in the basement doing a training. That's him. That's me right there. Right. This is on my Instagram. That was actually when my daughter was born. I FaceTimed Bob and Linda.
oh
So that was the
yeah
second day my daughter was born. That's how. So this photo shows you how close I was to them.
yeah FaceTime come
Right. And like I said, Linda's sitting on the couch next to him
okay
all the time. Yeah. So I'm in the car with him at dinner. This is us on stage. This was actually the last event Bob ever spoke at live. It was March 9th of 2020 in Toronto,
yeah and we were
right
blessed
before
to actually
6 days
hear it.
before COVID. Yeah, 6 days before COVID hit. But those are my guiding stars, right? The people that actually this was my post that I made March 9th of 2020. I made this post. This was the last event because 2020 March 9th, 6 days after this event in Toronto, whole world shut down.
Mhm.
So he never got to touch the stage again after that. And when you're in that position, you don't know that that's going to be the last time. You don't know that, man.
Mhm.
So for me to even say that, wow, for me to say it and have proof that I spoke on stage with Bob Proctor at his last event ever, which was at our event in Toronto, what can you say? I, when you're around people like that, the only thing you want to do is pray and man, if I can just do 1/10 of what that man did,
Mhm.
if I can, if I can help this person feel how they made me feel. That's why I do my retreats. Someone asked me earlier, they said, Jason, what's your purpose? I said, it's very easy to answer. I said, my purpose is this. First off, to show myself a lifestyle I never thought was possible. It's number one. But number two, to be able to give those same experiences back to others.
Mhm.
The reason why that's my purpose is because I was shown a lifestyle never thought was possible. Oh, we'll get the jet. The jet. I've been on the jet with Linda, right? I was there. I've literally been there. How much is this going to cost? Oh, 70,000 for the event. Just spend the money. Who cares?
Yeah.
I'm in these rooms, right?
Yeah.
And I'm literally the kid like this at the table,
Yeah.
hearing these conversations. You know, oh, so yeah, his company's about $100 million. He just figured out he didn't want to do it again. We're in the kitchen talking about a guy in Toronto that has $100 million workout, like fitness company, and we're just I'm in the kitchen and I'm like drinking Fiji water.
Taking all this in. Yeah. And
Yeah,
Jason,
like, am I really hearing this right now?
yeah.
So,
And
but
Jason,
that was the proximity. Yeah,
let
it
me
was a
ask you
blessing.
this. Let me ask you this, Jason. Being that you're in these situations and you're seeing that they're talking normal, oh, $1 million business, these people is this amount, 80,000, 100K. Just because I had an experience, and I want to see if that was your same experience. When I was in the room, we just had an event like 3 months ago, and I was
Hmm.
in the room. We ate dinner with not only my mentor, but 8-figure earners, 7-figure earners.
Hmm.
And this is the biggest breakthrough that I got this time around 4 months ago, 3 months ago. when my mentor came. He actually came to my house and we did an event here. Though we was here on a Friday and Saturday. Sunday we had an event upstate, like close to New Jersey, for the people that
Mm-hmm.
know. And he was at my house throughout the whole day. I was taking him to the hotel. We went to eat. He was telling me he was, sharpening my mind. And I noticed there's nothing between them and us or them and me.
Mm-hmm.
The way he's living, the way he took a nap at my house, and then next day he was being applauded by thousands of people to come up stage.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that was a breakthrough moment because I was like, there's nothing between me and him. If he can do it, I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that if Jason was that close with all these successful people, there's nothing that stands between them two and you.
Nah. You know what, Henry? I'm gonna tell you this, brother. There is a quote by Napoleon Hill. Okay. Now, actually, it wasn't. I don't know if it was by Napoleon Hill. Somebody said it. But the quote goes like this: You attract who you are, not who you want. Okay?
Mhm.
You attract who you are, not who you want. Henry, I remember, I don't know, man. I've had so many experiences with Bob and Linda. Actually, for between 2015 to 2022, I was in Toronto once every 2 months, 3 months at their house. Or we were somewhere together, always on the phone with them. I talk to Linda. She's my upline. I'm on the phone with her all constantly. Bob's always doing calls to us. It got to the point I stopped posting on my social media that I was with them because I was around them so much. I didn't even care to show anybody. I'm like, I'm just going to Bob Lynn's. I don't even care to put it on Instagram anymore. Right. The first couple of times it's like,
Yeah.
whoa. But if that's always, you're always going there, I stopped posting a lot of things. I don't even share. Actually, this phone that I have right here, my other phone, when I was in those rooms in 2020, I had a different phone, obviously. That phone stopped working. So I can't even retrieve my data. Bro, I have so many videos, so many audios. Like even on if I sold this phone, I can get $1 million for it. All the recordings from conversations from 2018, personal conversations. This is when Bob flew me out to the paradigm shift. This is PDS one, PDS two, three, four, five, like the different sections from the paradigm shift that we had. Actually, here's one. You want to Bob? I asked Bob about network marketing. Okay, we were in the car. Here, listen to this. So when you said that you would start over with network marketing again, what aspect of it really made you say that? I don't know if you can hear it, but it was him talking about network marketing. You know how many prospects I sold with this?
Dude, I
I
was
was like,
gonna tell
listen,
you.
Bob Proctor said get in network marketing, but when I would play it on the call with, I'm like, don't believe me, just listen to this, right?
So let me ask you this, Jason. What's one of the biggest change in your mindset that you got that helped you throughout your journey now from your mentor?
Oh, okay, Henry, me, you had an off-camera conversation, right?
Yeah.
And the off-camera conversation that I learned from my mentor was how to become more professional in a sense. Because, like I said, when I started, I was very raw, made a lot of unintentional mistakes. Right, no malicious things behind my mistakes. But um, I learned a lot, man. I learned, just how to present myself. How to communicate in front of people, how to hold the audience's attention. But there's a lot of things that I learned, man. I think I can sum that up in one thing, bro. I think it was so many small things that you gain along the way, which is why, here's the deal. If you're watching this recording, that's why you need to get around a Henry. You need to get around a mentor. You need to get around somebody because you're not going to learn everything at once. You got to be around someone for an extended period of time and you'll pick up on things, right? You'll start to pick up on their human nature, how they operate, how they walk, how they talk. One of the best things that I gained from Bob was study every day.
Mm.
Always have audios playing, bro. Like I told you, on my YouTube TV. But when I wake up in the morning, throw on the podcast, throw on the audio, because the last person that you can sometimes afford to listen to is you.
Mm.
That's probably the last person you can listen to sometimes.
Yeah.
Because you, the old you, is saying, how can we do this? I don't know if we can. You sure about that? So the last person you can sometimes afford to listen to is you. So I don't listen to Jason in the morning. You know how I listen to? My goal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's your goal? Whoever is the person that has what I want. The person that I would trade my life with, that's what I put on in the morning. The person that's making the impact that I desire to make, that's who I fuel in here with. Okay? Because this is sacred. Don't just let anybody in. Let me ask you this. You got a passcode for your phone?
Yeah.
Yeah. You got a passcode. You got a lock on your door?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a keypad, like a code pad on my door and a key. Right? You're not getting in here.
Yeah.
You got I got a garage door opener. You got a combination to your MacBook or your laptop. Do you have a car key? Right? Key for your car. So in all these different things, you got lock systems for. You got things. Now let me ask this, Henry. Does your mom have the code for your phone?
No.
Probably your spouses don't even have codes for your phone. You need to give them the code, right? And you live with the person. Would you just, hey, random person comes up, hey, Henry, can I get the code? Can I get your card and the code for your bank account for Bank of America? No. So, Henry, we have lock systems on everything except our mind.
Right.
You're not getting the passcode for this. No. Gandhi said, I'm not going to let you walk through my clean mind with your dirty shoes.
Mm.
If
Powerful.
you want to get in here, you got to have a certain passcode.
Mm-hmm.
Can't just get in. Can't just come in my house. No. If you want to get in here, you can't just get in here. So what do? I protect this. That's intentional. It's not just on. That's intentional. That video playing in the background, I had that video playing because guess where my next retreat is? Bali.
Mm.
So I'm already programming my subconscious mind with places, ideas, things we can do in Bali. That's intentional. Everything is intentional when you're growing. My screensaver on my phone. This is intentional. This is where I have a goal of having what's called the Self-Mastery Make a Million Look Small retreat in the south of France. That's intentional. That's the ultimate retreat that I want to do for 30 people, where the tickets are going to be anywhere from $25,000 to $40,000 per person for a ticket. We're going to teach people how to make a million that week.
Mm.
In order to come to that retreat, you got to at least have $250,000 in liquid cash.
Right.
And this is stuff I'm planning. I'm protecting this. I'm nurturing this. My favorite app, I think it was Audible. Said, congratulations. You spent 33 weeks listening to Audible. I got a congratulations for my consistency. I didn't hear this. You're on a roll. You've listened at least one day for 37 weeks since November 10th of 2025.
Oh, wow. Look.
Only reason why it hasn't been longer, because I just didn't have the subscription. Every day I wake up, you see what's on my audio.
Yeah. Seeing it now.
Right? This is my Audible, my audio books. I told someone else, study human nature, the laws of human nature. Givers and takers, become a giver. I got a lot of Bobby P on here. My mentor, Chris, this is my mentor, Chris Estes. He is top earner in network marketing. At his audio book called Apple Principle. B1, Seven Habits of Highly Successful People, Earl Nightingale, Principles, Ray Dalio, John Maxwell, Leadership. I guess in September, this Audible, which you're going to notice the difference, it's going to be leadership, 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 leadership. Why? In October, I got my leadership event.
Mm-hmm. So you're talking everything that has to do with leadership.
So intentionally programming this, intentionally protecting this. It's one of the biggest lessons I learned. You got to protect your mind.
You're
But I hope that
good.
makes sense. Feed, nurture, and protect.
No, and you know what? And I'm pretty sure this is what you learn from your mentor, right? And all these people are into self-development. And that's another thing that helped me because I was never a reader. I would never read a book. And in high school, I never finished a book, let alone middle school. And look at this, just to give you an idea.
Hey, Atomic Habits. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, and just to give you an idea, this is what I have here because this is where I'm always at underneath my laptop calendar booked because I had a lot of calls. This is the first book I read cover to cover.
Let me see. Which one is it?
Go for now. Especially
I've
from
heard of
this,
that.
especially because of this profession.
Mm-hmm.
Before I started, I was very hesitant and I wouldn't like when people would tell me no, and I would get mad at myself. Why? This opportunity that can change your life. Why are they telling me no, no, no? And one of my mentors amongst a lot is Ray Higdon. He
Mm-hmm.
actually co-authored the Go for No for network marketing.
Nice.
So Ray Higdon, I got coached by him, and he told me, he said, read Go for No. He didn't tell me he co-authored one, but I read the
Mm-hmm.
original one. When he told me that, I was like, okay, so there's something in that book that I need to get in my mind so I can stop
Yeah.
reacting to rejection. When I ordered it, within 3 days, I locked in. And this is a book that I read cover to cover. For me to read this
Mm-hmm.
in 3 days, I don't know how I did it, but I did it because the way it helped me, my mind to
Yeah.
change the way I was looking at rejection, transform how I see rejection. So now I can go to talk to somebody and I don't care what they say. And it kind of
Mm-hmm.
goes hand in hand what you're talking about because you need to really
Yeah.
protect. And there's certain books from authors you can get. If you don't have nobody that's mentoring you now, personal, you can get a book that has an author that died years ago, and
Mm-hmm.
that can be your mentor. And the neat thing is that whatever that person, that author wrote in a book, they probably learned it throughout their life, and you're reading it in a
Exactly.
so it's like books,
Yeah.
audiobooks is the way to go.
Yeah. I heard a quote that said mentorship is accepting perfect advice from an imperfect person
Mm,
because they're not going to put how to lose in the book,
yeah, no,
right?
that's
They're
very
only going to put how to win, right? They're not a perfect person, but that advice in the book is perfect.
right. No, and
You
that's
know,
very powerful. And
love that.
let me ask you this: why do you think having a mentor is important?
You got to have a mentor that gives a shit about you, bro. Excuse my language. I had mentors that really cared about me. They
Hmm.
weren't doing it for the money. They already had money.
Hmm.
They made a million. They made more millions than my age when
Yeah.
I met them. You got to have someone that really, of course, they want to be paid. They want to be compensated. They want you to take what they say serious. But the thing that you should find is someone that wants your testimony more than they want your money.
Hmm.
I want people's success stories more than I want their money
In that
for
becomes,
selfish reasons.
yeah.
For my ego, be like, yeah, we did that. But Bob said this about mentorship. He said most people want a mentor, but they want to be mentored their way.
Mm.
Can't happen. If I mentor you your way, that means you're just gonna get your results. if you want my results, or if you want a piece of what I've already done, or want me to show you how I've done what I've done, then I can't mentor you your way. I can't mentor you comfortably. My advice is not going to match your current paradigm, meaning your current habit system. My
Mm-hmm.
advice is going to match my habit system, which is probably against your habit system. So if you're not ready to accept alternative advice than what you think you should have, then don't get a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to tell you things that are more in harmony with their habitual nature than your habitual nature. But having a mentor is a cool thing, bro, because a lot of my mentorship was silent. It was visual. Again, these events. Linda never sat down with me and said, Jason, this is how you run
Mm-hmm.
an event.
You just.
Never. Never said, this is how you run an event. The fact that she said, come over here, just come here. I was just watching, observing. Henry, the beautiful thing about a mentor is you can see what they're doing. Like I spoke to a young guy today. His name is Josh. He's a boxer in the UK, in England. And I said, Josh, I said, you know why I want you to come to my retreat? I told him about my retreat that I'm doing in Bali. I said, you know why I want you to come to retreat? I said, just so you can see it for yourself. To see if you ever want to do anything like this. I told Josh, I said, bro, you should have some boxing retreats. I said, before you have one, go to one. See how it's set up. Don't come as a fan. Don't, oh, Jason, can we get a photo? Yeah, we'll get a photo.
Mm-hmm.
But I need you to be like, hey, man, can I put my phone down and record this conversation? I need you to be taking photos of the venue. Like the music that I play in my retreats. Guess what? Odessa, Rufus Du Sol. That's the music that they played at their events. Surprise.
Mm-hmm.
The theme that I have in my retreats, the SM Leadership Invitational. Linda had a leadership invitational that I went to. You can actually find the video on YouTube. It's called Team Diamond Global Network. This was the first leadership training that I went to. This is where you see some of those photos. I'll send it to you, Henry, so you can watch it. And you'll understand why I'm having the event that I'm doing in Vegas. But I'll show you this for your podcast viewers that are actually watching this probably on YouTube. So you'll see a lot of similarities here. I'll show you this. This is when we were sitting in Bob's living room. Okay. You'll see some similarities from what I've done, from what he did with us. See Linda with that whiteboard in the front of the room? What do you see Jason with in the front of his room?
A whiteboard.
But this was in 2017. So wait a second, Jason, you were actually being a student? Not just a follower? There's Jason in the video right there. Young Jason. Linda created these notepads for people. Okay, she made these notebooks.
Guess what Jason does?
What do you see on my table? Notebooks for people underneath the gifts. What do you see right here? Laptop, computer. What do you see right here? Laptop, computer. Because I zoomed in people to the live. What do you see here? Millionaires sitting on a couch. Not a room, not an event room,
Mm-hmm.
a couch. What do you see here?
Mm.
Thank you, Bob. Thank
That's
you,
what,
Linda.
like you said, you weren't told. You just took and soaked everything. And now see, I can envision you in the corner observing everything. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure if you're like me, you are seeing things behind the scene, like the
Yeah,
small things, like the
I'm
music,
noticing it.
the
The
timing.
music, all that, bro.
Can you share? It doesn't have to be a big, or you can share a big or small. Can you share a success story from someone who attended your events?
Many of them.
I'm
I'll give
actually
you this right
browsing my.
here. This is my Instagram. You see the testimonials? These are the testimonials right here. This is my chef, Rufus. Matter of fact, I'm not even gonna start with him. I'm gonna start with Stephanie. Stephanie Arcee. She came to my event. Stephanie started her business. She has a wellness business in Los Angeles. Okay. She started her business because I mentored her one-on-one. I said, Steph, you should start the business. She invested tens of thousands of dollars into her business. But Steph came to my retreat in France. During France, I did what's called a SNAP session. It stands SNAP, which stands for Super Networking Accelerated Potential. Where'd I get it from? Bobby P. That's where you bring each person there to the front of the room. Notice how I had each person come to the front of the room. Okay, this is Stephanie. I said, Steph, come to the front of the room. Okay, Steph, tell every single person in this crowd who you are, where you're from, what you're doing. Because the snap session was for the person to come to the front of the room, tell them their story, what their business is, what they're building, and everyone in the audience was responsibility was to figure out how to give that person ideas, solutions, connections, and things that they can help them build their business. Steph came to the front of the room, as you see.
Yeah.
I said, all right, everybody. Steph, share your story, blah, blah, blah. She shared her story. I said, okay, while Steph is talking, raise your hand and keep it up until she's done if you have an idea to help her. Guess who raised their hand? My chef, Rufus. Rufus is from LA. He said, Steph, I also live in LA. I live in Irvine. I have a friend named Shaladay who actually has wellness facilities in Los Angeles. She's always looking to collaborate with people. Let me put you in touch with Shaladay. I said, Rufus, sorry, bro. Do it now. Create the group chat. Right. You got that? Right now. Boom. Rufus created the group chat with Shaladay, Stephanie, and him. They come back. Guess what happened? Stephanie, Rufus, and Shaladay now have a massive event in LA. They just had it in Los Angeles, where now Steph has new clientele, new opportunities. Okay. This is her video of the machine that she has, where she has new clients. They had this event. People came out to use it. As you see, my chef Rufus right there.
Mm-hmm.
One testimonial. My buddy Marcos. I've been mentoring Marcos one-on-one. Marcos has been to every single one of my retreats. This is his third retreat. Marcos was a lost kid, alcoholic, smoker, drinker, doing all that crazy stuff. Marcos came to the front of the room. Actually, it's the very first photo. Said, Marcos, tell him who you are, blah, 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 blah. Marcos is talking. Now, Marcos is an event head. He loves events. He goes to Patrick David events. He goes to all these different events, right? He's coming to my events. He's at every single event. Marcos is talking. I'm leaning like this. I got the same shirt on too, by the way. I'm leaning like this, as you can see in the photo.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just sitting there like this. And I'm just listening to him. I already know what I'm going to tell him. Marcos is talking. He's done. I said, Marcos, you go to every single event. When are you going to have your own? Whole crowd said.
That's powerful.
He started smiling. He said, never thought about it. I said, when you get back home, we're going to have your first event. I don't care what it is. Marcos is big in faith, loves the Lord, loves Jesus, and he loves sports. Like, bro, have a sports event where you get together people that are followers of Christ, and he called it Hoops in Heaven, where he invited people to play basketball so he can talk with them about Jesus. Let me show you this. 80 people showed up. Hold on. 80 people showed up. This was last weekend. His first event. 80 and a videographer. 80 people showed up from that event. Here it is. If it didn't happen, how it happened. Seeing how good he's been to me. Oh, I can't help but think. I can give you stories for years.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a space at the end. Let people know how they can reach you and how they can get more information about the retreat. But before I get to that, I do have one more question.
Yeah.
And if you could give one piece of advice to someone who wants to change your life, what would it be?
Call you.
Powerful.
Sign up with Henry. I will say that if you're a follower of him, stop following him, join him. It's very simple. He has a business model that if you take serious, it could alter your life.
Yeah.
Take advantage of your opportunities as well, I would tell people. But Henry, ask that question one more time because I have something else to add to it.
If you could give one piece of advice to someone who wants to change their life, what would it be?
In order to change your life, you have to change your life.
Remind me of that other
Just
quote
do
where
it.
it says, if nothing changes,
Nothing changes. Just do it. Yeah, you're scared. Me too. Yeah, you don't know what you're doing. Bro, I'll tell you this. I've been around billionaires. They didn't know what the hell they were doing half the time. They're like, yeah, maybe we should do this. Okay, let's try it tomorrow. That's how you're looking at the commercial and you think it was put together 10 years ago. Meanwhile, they sat at that dinner table last night and said, oh, yeah, let's put it out there and see if it resonates with the people. And then you're seeing it and you think that happened last night. You know how often that is? Just freaking do it. Do it. Do it. You're going to die. You know, actually, I had a conversation with a group. I did a mindset call with the group. And they were not moving. They were messing around. I said, you know the problem with you all? So you want to know your problem? I said, your problem is you don't believe you're actually going to die one day. You really don't think you're going to die. You really think that death is not going to happen to you. Praying is when you talk to God, but intuition is when God talks to you. Follow your intuition. That voice that's in your head. I'm going to share you this last thing. Don't judge me. But this photo is one of the most powerful photos I ever took. And this was in Bob's bathroom. But he had something on his mantle in the bathroom. It was right underneath. He had like a little cupboard and a little light, a little plant right next to it. It was shimmering in the light. They had gold sinks, like rich people stuff, right? Yeah. The sink was gold. I almost stole the sink.
Yeah.
All right. But this is what it said. It said, listen to the quiet voice within that's telling you where to go. People don't even know where this photo was taking place. This was in their bathroom. And I was looking up. I said, oh.
Yeah.
I turned around. I said, oh, that's nice. Listen to the quiet voice within that is telling you the way to go. So I will tell all your followers, listen to the quiet voice within that is telling you the way to go. You'll never be steered wrong. My intuition said, message this guy named Henry. Why? I don't know. Something said message you, bro. Now we're on a podcast. This podcast may impact thousands of lives. So, number one, if you're following Henry, stop following him. Join him. Sign up. Pay the money. $500, $1,000. Get in. Get started. Stop waiting. Listen, well, Jason, I don't have the money. That's why you need to start. I don't have the time. That's why you need to start. I don't know a lot of people. That's a big problem because your network is your net worth. Get in,
Mm-hmm.
get started. Stop making excuses. Take action. Henry, I salute you, my brother. I appreciate you having me on here, man. I do hope this brought value to your audience. I hope that one young dude that was like me and you at 20 years old, that's kind of trying to figure it out, that doesn't know where to go, that's lost, that's like, man, why am I even living? That dude, because I was that dude. I hope that dude hears this audio from me and you and can listen to it and change his life.
It will.
So, Henry,
Thank
till
you.
we meet again, my brother.
Thank you. I really appreciate Jason. And how can they find you? And how can they
You
connect and
got
tell them about your retreat?
you guys can find me. I'll give my phone number. +1 317-432-9454. Just shoot me a text. Let me know that you've seen this. Or my Instagram @_ Jason S 34. Or you can find my retreats, just YouTube Self Mastery Retreats, and you'll find it on YouTube.
I'll also pin it in the description. So if you want to check out his stuff, go ahead and do it. And Jason, Solomon, I appreciate it again for hopping in and talking to us.
Anytime, brother. Henry, thank you again, brother. Much love, much salutes to you for putting this on because you're the reason why we're here. And Henry, I'll see you at the top, bro. It's way too crowded at the bottom, all right?